It's been rumoured for a little while now, but we got official confirmation. IndyCar is going back to Laguna Seca next year as the season finale, as the new season finale of the series. Sonoma is out, Laguna Seca is in. Yay! Or something.
Yeah!
Woo! Corkscrews! Corkscrews for everybody!
Yeah! This is actually really fun. Again, Laguna Seca Raceway was in danger of its long-term existence at one point, as it was up for sale not too long ago. But now it has a new owner, and now it has an IndyCar race for 3 years, and the series finale, just like it was way back in the olden days.
Indeed. I mean, King, how do you feel about this? First of all, I'll let you sprout on this one first.
I would say I'm of two minds. I'm glad that, that Laguna Seca is back on the calendar. I don't know if it should be the finale, though. Yes, it has history of being the finale, but maybe it should be on an oval. In terms of quality of racing, I think it's something that we won't know entirely until we race there, but in terms of layout, it's very similar to Sonoma.
Agreed.
Right. It's an undulating road course. There are very few opportunities to pass, much like Sonoma. And again, the Indy Lights drivers had a tough time trying to get around. There are not too many overtaking opportunities outside of the Andretti hairpin at turn 1, the very last corner where somebody can get it wrong. And of course, if you're feeling really, really brave, you can chuck one up the inside of the corkscrew, a la Alex Zanardi and or Renger van der Zand.
Yeah, the club there is not a very long one. Jonathan Rain, you could probably throw Valentino Rossi and Marc Marquez onto that list as well if you're into your bike racing, but it's hard to get a grip on this one because MotoGP stopped racing there about 4 years ago now, and World Superbikes still races there. Raced there a couple of weeks ago, and both races weren't particularly exciting. Trust me, it was the last year's race at Laguna Seca that broke the camel's back about competitive balance in World Superbikes, because a lot of people who don't normally watch bike racing or watch World Superbikes will tune in because of Laguna Seca, because it's such an iconic track. And when people watched the product, they didn't like it because Jonathan Ray and Chaz Davis won their races fairly easily. And I remember guys like Keith Ewan, who's the BT Sport commentator for MotoGP now, who basically has his jeans wrapped around his ankles whenever John McPhee does well. It's not pretty, but he chipped in on Twitter and was like, "Oh, how is this so boring?" And I was like, "Mate, you don't watch Worlds, you don't get the context." But then that started the enormous debate about what can we do to basically bring Jonathan Ray down a peg. And it all started because of Laguna Seca, when I was telling people, if you'd actually watched all of the World Superbike season to that point, there was a lot of really good races. So I didn't believe it was a fair... I thought the track was the problem and not the series itself. But that's a debate for another podcast we may or may not do. But for me, I fear for the quality of racing here. I don't think there's going to be many chances to pass people. I think it could be very processional, and I just don't think Laguna Seca is a good fit for modern-day motorsport. I know Tony DeZino on Twitter as well talked about the facilities not being particularly great either. Remember when MotoGP was racing there, they could only have the top flight there. They couldn't have the 2 and 3 support classes because the paddock wasn't big enough. Same deal with World Superbike.
That's something that might be fixed under new ownership. We're also seeing a new return to old track strategy, returning to tracks that were big in the heyday of kart once upon a generation. Road America, success. Gateway International, success. ISM Raceway at Phoenix, Portland to be determined.
It's interesting to say the least. It's an interesting approach. I'm not sure if it's the right one on this one. I agree with King. I'd like to see an oval be the finale because I think you got a better chance of getting a more thrilling finale. Something like Texas, for example, or Fontana like it used to be. But we've had this debate before on this show. It's Laguna Seca. It'll look great. and you know, who knows? Maybe it'll produce something great. As Henry mentioned in the Discord chat, they said they feared about Barber because it's such a small track, and yet Barber's produced many a great race. So who knows how it turns out in these IndyCars? You've got to wait and see. But yeah, you know, I'm not the most optimistic guy in the world about that, but we'll have to wait and see how that goes.